Hello insurance people, if you are watching this video, it is because you are somewhat interested in email marketing for your insurance business. So really quick, this is an email marketing campaign that I set up actually for my dad who sells insurance. It's kind of how I stumbled upon this strategy. He sells long-term care, and there's a new type of long-term care called asset care. So my dad, he's getting up there in age and he's not really technically savvy, but I know that he's been in the insurance industry for, I don't know, 30, 40 years, and he's got a very large backlog of leads, which include names, email addresses, phone numbers. So I thought I might as well use my technical expertise to create what's called a drip campaign for him, which is essentially where it's basically like a newsletter, all right, where you send out an email every single day to the list and you just kind of stay in front of them and stay on their minds. And these are all people who, these are leads given to him by the company that he works for. So these are not like, not randomly emailing people, that aren't interested. These are people who have expressed interest in long-term care at one point. Now, if you sell life insurance or something like that, we can do this for you too, but this example is just specifically for long-term care because that's what he sells. Now, this is an automated campaign, okay? Now, what that means is that these campaigns will go out every day set up on a schedule, okay? So you can see I set this up at the time of this filming about 10 days ago, a little bit less. 23,000-ish emails have been sent to a list approximately the size of, I think there's about 2,000 people in this list. These are the stats on all of the emails, okay? Okay, so there's 12 emails set up in the workflow. These are set to go out once, like every day. Every 24 hours a new email will get sent. These are the stats. I'll go over these in a second, but we can see 25% of the people open them in this, 8%, 7, 8, 5, 6, 5, and then these ones have not gone out yet, which is why they have low stats. Okay, so let's take a look at one of these. I think that will bring it up. Now, before we get into this, let me just tell you that the results he's had from this so far is that he's written already one app, okay, from doing this. And in long-term care, that's like $3-4 grand from one app that's been written. And he told me that he's got about 5 or 6 appointments set for the next week. So, I don't sell insurance, but what I do know about long-term care is that the commissions are very big. And when you have a list this size and you're sending out all these emails, it's a numbers game at the end of the day. So this is the report about the first email. This is what it looks like. This is the title, Big News About Your Long-Term Care Insurance Policy. A little bit of clickbait there. 654 people opened, 8 people clicked, 425 bounces, which means that the email did not arrive, and 66 unsubscribes. 5 abuse reports on this, which is mean people clicked, this is spam or whatever, which is totally normal, especially when you're marketing to potential customers of long-term care. They tend to be a little bit older and, without disrespecting anybody, they're a little bit less patient with stuff like this. So totally normal. Yeah, this is basically the stats. Now let's take a look at the actual email itself. How do I do this? Okay, so let's go into the automated campaign. Okay, so this is what one of the emails looks like. Let's just take a look. View email. This is it right here. Ray Oden, long-term care specialist. Breaking news, a little bit of an image right here, and then the email itself, okay? Now, I wouldn't get too caught up in what the email actually says. Obviously, you don't want to break any laws and you want to stay relevant to the subject that we're talking to people about, which in this case is long-term care. But what's really important here is that we have some kind of email that looks fairly decent, okay? I'm not going to say that I'm like master artist when it comes to making emails, but this looks acceptable. It's got some bullet points about long-term care. If they're interested, it's likely that they will schedule an appointment. Now, this right here, this is a link to schedule an appointment. This is like a button to schedule an appointment. And if they click on this image, it will also schedule an appointment as well. This is a signature that I made for my dad. That's him. And if they click this, let's see what happens. Hopefully this works. Yeah, Calendly, Raymond Oden. And then what people do is they click this and they pick a time and a day in his schedule, which they can decide whatever they want to do. Okay, so that's that's that. And the same thing happens if you click this button or if you click this button right here. Okay, so the idea is that you send out these emails every single day, essentially for the rest of these people's lives, okay? When it comes to email marketing, a lot of people kind of don't really realize this, but you essentially have their contact information and you can contact them every day with information about what you're selling every single day forever. Okay, this is a very effective way to get new clients and to also sell additional services to existing clients that you have. However, this specific list is for people that have not purchased long-term care, which is just how we drew the names from the list. Okay, so let's just take a look at another one of these just for fun, and then we'll look at the stats. Oops. Okay, so again, same heading up here, a different image. What I like to do is I like to break up the text with bold, italicized, bullet points, stuff like that. Just makes it a little bit easier to read. Okay, what is the difference between Asset Care 1 through 4? Again, this email campaign is specifically for Asset Care, which is a new type of long-term care that's like an annuity or something like that. Okay. Yeah, all of this information is pulled from either One America's website or from other blogs, and it is rewritten so it doesn't have any spelling mistakes or anything like that. Okay, and again, link to set an appointment, button to set an appointment, signature is right here. I've got the phone number right here in case they just want to call directly, which is also an option. Essentially what this is just an email with a bit of information about long-term care, a call to action about setting an appointment, getting on the phone, and then the option for them to get in touch easily if they want to. Okay, now let's take a look at the stats for these. So you can see overall, this is a fairly decent conversion rate. Even though there's only been 28 clicks, he has told me he's already written one app and he set about 5 or 6 appointments just from these 28 clicks, which is very good. So 1,800 opens. And let's take a look at, okay, so the first one, we'll notice 25% open rate and a higher click rate, and then it drops to 8%. Okay, so it drops. That's because this first one, this is, they're getting an email from a new person. This is a little bit of a clickbait title right here. So they're like, oh, what is this, big news? And then once they realize, oh, this guy, let's be real, he's just trying to sell me something, they're like, okay, unsubscribe. And we'll notice that here we've got 3,000 recipients. And here we had about, I think, a couple hundred people unsubscribe, which is fine because that's normal. Not everybody's going to be interested all the time, but if I were selling insurance, I would be very happy to still have 2,700 people who were still open to receiving information about products or services that I was selling. Okay, and we see that this will drop more as the list goes on. Here it's at 2,400. So, you can expect to drop. I'm not saying that like everybody's going to always be super happy to get your email about long-term care or insurance, obviously not. But at the end of the day, when you're selling insurance, commissions are fairly high, so you don't need that many sales to feel good about doing this. Okay, so let's look at the stats on this one, just a random one. Okay, what is the payout for Asset Care like? 3 clicks on this, 134 bounces. Now this could be because I believe my dad entered these in his CRM on his own. These could be typos. These could be inactive emails that aren't active anymore. These could be, people deleted their emails. 25 unsubscribes, totally normal. 187 people opened this. So let's take a look. Okay, so you can see these are all like legit emails: Hotmail, Yahoo, Outlook, Gmail. All of the names are in here, addresses, because basically what I did is I imported all of the leads that he had into this, which is MailChimp. Okay, so anyway, that is the point of all of this stuff. If you guys are interested in this, if this seems like something you would like to do, I would recommend it if you have, because I assume that you're probably similar to my dad in that you have a backlog of lots of leads that you called and they didn't buy and they're sitting around somewhere. Maybe you're sending out an email once every 2 weeks or once a month that's like, really dry and really boring and just not going to inspire anybody to take action on anything. Okay, mine I like to think are pretty good, and you know, I don't know. You know, proof is in the pudding. He's written an app already. He's got a couple more in the pipe that look like they're going to sell. So if you want to do this, this is a new service for me. What I would like to do eventually is charge around $1,000 a month for this. Because it is new, I am, you know, willing to give you guys a deal on this. You can tell my video is very informal. I haven't even set up a website for this yet, which isn't a problem for me. I can totally do that, but I kind of just want to test the waters and see if people are actually interested in this before I go through the trouble of actually setting up a website. So I've got the emails all ready to go. I can create an automated campaign for you. I can do, you know, this one only has 12, but what I would recommend is that you have, like, this number literally cannot be big enough, right? Because if you get another 20, 30, 40 leads this week, and you call them, you can load them into this same system and they will go through the same sequence, right? The first day you load them in, they'll get this one. Second day, this one. Third one, this one, right? So the longer you do it, the more likely it is that these people are actually going to turn into a lead. Even if it takes a year, which it probably won't. You'll probably get some results right off the bat, especially if you have a backlog of a couple thousand. Okay, so if you're interested, I'll put my email address in the description of this video, or you can find me at stuart.oden@gmail.com, stuart.oden@gmail.com. I will put I'll write it in the description of this video. You guys can contact me if you're interested. If you're not interested and you watch this entire video, thank you for watching the video. Yeah, and that's basically it. You know, get in touch with me if you want.